Drive, presented by Lowe's. Pittsburgh delivered last night, as I said. We'll see what they bring tonight. We expect another massive crowd. As you see the camera flying over to us, that's Swagu waving from the bottom there. You're going to see us all. Oh, Swag, now we're here. What's up, everybody?
What's
Marcus
happening?
Spears, Mina Kimes, Ryan Clark, Dan Orlovsky, Field Yates, and Peter Schrager, as well as Adam Schefter, will join us throughout. Swag's feeling good. He thinks the Cowboys had a good first round. And we're going to dive into all of it, you guys. Let's start with, I didn't mention Ty Simpson yet, Dan. I'm sorry. We're going to get to that, okay? One of the bigger first-round surprises, Ty Simpson, the quarterback out of Alabama, taken at 13th overall by the LA Rams. An ideal situation for Simpson, since he'll get to learn behind Matthew Stafford, and Sean McVay very clear last night that this is Stafford's team. I asked Simpson what it'd be like to learn from McVay and Stafford.
Yeah, I mean, two of the greatest minds in, offense, especially with, Coach McVay in the quarterback offensive standpoint. And then, Matthew is one of the greatest of all time. So I'm looking forward to it.
All right, Dan, I'm going to say this once. Congratulations. Ty Simpson ends up... You get a tiny shake because I don't really want to give you a handshake.
He doesn't need a handshake from everybody.
All right.
This is what they do now.
Clock it.
Yeah. All right. We clocked it. You were right. Ty Simpson ends up being drafted a lot earlier than people expected.
Quickly, huh?
But why do you think LA is the right landing spot for Simpson?
This is a rare instance in two ways. One, both parties get to thrive. I think the player, this is the place that is most ideal for him to thrive. We think of Sean McVay's offense, under center play action motion. So that's where they rank NFL. That's everything that Ty Simpson did as a player. So when it comes to the player and what the team likes to do, it's perfect. I also think it's rare because the Rams are just trying to thread the needle here. We don't see situations in the NFL where, hey, we're a really good team, Super Bowl contending team. We've got this old quarterback. We've got multiple first-round picks. We like a player that fits exactly what we want to do. Can we take them? And that's where the future and the present kind of collide. This is not common, and I think it takes a lot of courage organizationally to make the decision to do it. But I just think you're the Rams. You're trying to thread the needle of trying to be perfect for the now, while also planning for what's next.
Yeah, and Marcus, I mean, that's the thing, right? They passed on potentially taking another player. People talk about Makai Lemon maybe being an option there that could help him with a Super Bowl run right now as they're trying to prepare for the future. Was that the right move?
It was the right move. We're in a city right now that I get sad about their quarterback situation every year because they waited too long, right? And then we had the opposite of that spectrum in Green Bay when they drafted Jordan Love. Aaron was pissed off, but at some point, bro, you no longer going to be a Packer. We need to start trying to prepare for that. Now, I get it about another position and get another piece for Matthew Stafford. Cool, that's great. Here's what I want to remind everybody.
Let's see that happen tonight.
No, but I want to remind everybody about the Los Angeles Rams. They aren't afraid to make moves during the season.
It's true.
They make moves for people that's going to put them over the edge to win a Super Bowl as they watch the season play out. You know what? We need another pass rusher. Let's go get Von Miller. You know what? We need a guy on the back end. Let's go get Jalen Ramsey. We need this. We need that. We need to figure out how to be Super Bowl champions as the season go along. So, yes, I understand. Take a player at 13 that can help Matthew Stafford or help this team, or take a guy that you think you can turn into the future of your franchise. I think that's more poignant now. And last reminder, RC and MK, you don't have to pay them like we used to.
Yep.
Right.
That's another big part of this.
Conversely, you don't reap the benefit of the quarterback on a rookie contract if he's not your quarterback for a couple of years. I was very surprised by this, despite Dan's many predictions, mostly actually because of how the Rams have operated this offseason. They've been so all in on this year with the moves they made, particularly in the secondary. I expected that to continue. This is a team that should be in the Super Bowl. I think we all agree. And while at the moment now we can say, okay, they're trying to do two timelines at once, good organizations do plan for the future, I see that. If it's December and Devontae Adams, who's turning 34 and had a hamstring injury last year, is banged up, that is a thin group of receivers behind Puka Nacua, who also takes quite a beating, by the way, with his style of play. And I do think you will be wondering at that point, especially if you're Matthew Stafford, what if we had taken Makai Lemon or Kenyon Sadiq, a player who can help us on our Super Bowl run now? It is easy to not worry about it until the injuries happen.
Yeah, and where we sit right now, Jordan Whittington and Cody Parkinson would be your third option behind Devontae and also Puka Nacua. And I feel like this could be the right move in the wrong way. Why do we have to draft Ty Simpson at 13 when we know we don't pick again until 61? Will we be able to get a pass catcher that can affect Matthew Stafford in this season at a high level with where we pick? And the other part of it, when you look at planning for the future, you're planning for the future with a guy like earlier you said, Dan, maybe we'll see Matthew Stafford start 2 more years.
Right.
So in 22, 23, 24, 26, 25, 6, 7, and 28, you're going to start a guy in 28 that only has 15 starts over that period of time. That's difficult to implement him and say he's going to be my franchise quarterback. And so though I like not finding yourself in a place to where you're trying to replace a legend when you don't have someone ready to step in, I just don't know if it was the move, in my opinion, at 13.
I agree with you. I think there's the context of this team's not picking anywhere near the 10th pick of the draft for realistically the next 2 or 3 years. Yeah. Anytime they have Sean McVay, they're not picking near the top of the draft. They think that this guy's got a chance to be a franchise quarterback. I'd also say this. If I was Matthew Stafford, I would go to them and say, I get it. I understand it. Go get me A.J. Brown. Yeah. Go get me George Pickens. Or go get me Burks from Oklahoma or Stribling from Ole Miss tonight. That, I think, alleviates a lot of, like, the question mark.
All right, so really fast on A.J. Brown. Adam, we're going to get to you on Ty Simpson, but I want to ask that about A.J. Brown. Is there any chance that A.J. Brown is still in play for the Rams?
And Eagles had discussions, and that ship, as far as I know, has sailed. I do not expect those talks to be revived and for A.J. Brown to wind up as the Los Angeles Ram. He is, I believe, ticketed to become a New England Patriot. Those two teams will commence talks on June 1st and put together the deal that will result in A.J. Brown becoming a Patriot. He's not going to wind up as a Ram.
Okay, so there you go. But either way.
So run this back if I'm wrong, okay? But I am reminded that the Triple Crown winner was drafted late.
3rd round.
And the guy that's the #1 was drafted late.
5th round.
At wide receiver for the Rams, right? Yeah. I have to give some credence to that front office in identifying who works in that offense from a receiver standpoint.
And there are some receivers that will be available in the 60s that they could potentially get. So, we'll keep an eye on what they do there. All right, we are going to continue to talk about this with the Rams later on, but we are going to get Adam's perspective on what he knows from the Rams side of this. Adam, why did they decide to go the Ty Simpson route?
Well, a few things to keep in mind here. First of all, this was the pick that they had acquired from the Atlanta Falcons, which you could look at in a way as a bonus pick. In this draft, the Rams already had traded the 29th overall pick to the Kansas City Chiefs for Pro Bowl cornerback Trent McDuffie. So the Rams felt like they got a veteran who was a better player than any player they would have gotten at the 29th overall pick. They now felt like they were playing with house money. Now that they're playing with house money, they're in a spot where they felt there was a quarterback that was really attractive, really smart, a really good processor, and they felt like they wouldn't be drafting this high again to be in that position. Now, the perfect plan would have been to trade back in the draft, pick up more picks, and then take Ty Simpson. The problem was they didn't receive a single call or offer for pick 13. They were stuck there. They couldn't move. So they had to take Ty Simpson at that point in time, knowing, or at least they thought, that there were other teams that would have Ty Simpson interest and love later on, and that was the one chance they would get to take the quarterback that they wanted. They prepared for it. They notified both Matthew Stafford and Stetson Bennett during the day that they intended to take Ty Simpson with the 13th overall pick or in the 1st round to wherever they could get to. So they notified both quarterbacks, which obviously was not what the Atlanta Falcons had done when they drafted Michael Penix after they signed Kirk Cousins. So this was the situation. The Rams felt it was a rare opportunity, and they felt like they tried to take advantage of it.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, the pace of the draft, too, being 2 minutes shorter in between picks, there just wasn't a lot of time for things to happen, but yet there still were a decent amount of trades. There's a Jets fan behind you, Adam. Let's talk about the Jets, first of all, and that. They were able to now get 3 picks in the 1st round. What was the thought process by them to do that?
Well, first and foremost, the Jets loved the tight end from Oregon, Kenyon Sadiq, and they felt like he was a big winner. David Bailey at the 1st pick. They wanted a pass rusher. This team had the fewest amount of sacks of any Jets team since 1999. So they really needed to upgrade that area. Sadiq was a player that they really wanted. Of course, later on, they take Omar Cooper Jr., who was a lot of draft analysts felt like the Jets would take him at 16. So the Jets got 3 players in the first round, and they still have 3 first-round picks next year. And then, of course, there were the Kansas City Chiefs, who also had double ones. They moved up in the draft to take the LSU cornerback, Mansour Delane. They felt like he was the top cornerback in this draft, and we already talked about the Chiefs losing both Trent McDuffie and Jalen Watson to the Los Angeles Rams. They come back later and fortify their defensive line, shore that up at that point in time, and the Chiefs felt like they made some big-time moves last night.
All right, more from Adam throughout the show. There's news flying around. We'll get right back to you, Adam. But RC, was the trade to get Delane, was that the right thing, moving up for a player like that?
Yes, I believe it was the right thing, especially when you see someone like Carnell Tate go so early. Now, I know it's a wide receiver, but you're saying to yourself, this draft isn't necessarily playing out like you would want it to. And I believe Washington truly had their eyes on whether it was Sonny Styles or Mansour Delane. And so if I'm the Kansas City Chiefs, knowing I've lost Jalen Watson, knowing I've lost Trent McDuffie, and the gap between Delane and the rest of this cornerback class, you had to go out and get a true number 1 that walks into your building as a starter and a stalwart. And number 4 from LSU was that only guy. To me, it was the only move to make.
RC, what do you think he can be?
I think, so one, I think we didn't get an opportunity to see his versatility at LSU.
Yeah.
I believe he's a guy that can move inside. I believe he is a guy that could travel. But when you watch the way he played under Corey Raymond, who's been at LSU multiple times with multiple first-round corners, he was able to do anything. They put him in off. He bailed. He was able to press. He understood motion and feel. And so when you have a Steve Spagnuolo that can put you in all those positions, he's perfect.
It's easy to see why Steve Spagnuolo probably greenlit this pick and coveted the player. I think your point about the gap between him and the rest of the corners is important. I also think that the Chiefs probably thought they could address wide receiver later in the draft. They took a defensive tackle later. But as far as the fit goes, I think this is seamless. We know that this Chiefs defense plays man coverage at the 4th highest rate in the NFL. Mansour, I liked his zone reps, but the press man reps were really what sold me on him. He's so physical at the line of scrimmage, calm throughout the route. He's able to get hands on the football without being grabby. He's a good tackler as well, which we know Spagnuolo also values in his corners. So to me, it is a hand-in-glove fit between the scheme and the player, even if it did take a premium to go up and get him.
Are we more L'Jarius Sneed or Trent McDuffie?
He's in between those players.
Yeah.
He's in between those players, and he's also...
Can he be a blitzer?
At least he could do everything. Like, I truly believe he could do everything. I believe he has the skill set. We just watched him do one thing at LSU because that was the thing he did extremely well. But under Steve Spagnuolo, even Trent McDuffie became more than what he was at Washington because he wasn't a guy that had to move inside there.
Yeah, the physicality is reminiscent of McDuffie. And the blitzing is important because we all remember the Chiefs' blitzes were so much less effective last season, and that's got to be a big part of the defense moving forward.
One of my favorite things about Mansour Delane, as soon as he was drafted, when he got over to me on the stage, he was just like looking at the jersey and looking at everything, and he was like, I can't believe this. Like it was hitting him, I think, in that moment that it was the Chiefs. It's such a storied team and a championship caliber team.
Did you find him as strikingly beautiful as the group text?
I'm not going to speak for...
Stop blowing up the group text.
I'm not going to speak for the guys on the group text that thought he was strikingly beautiful, but I think he's a good-looking guy.
Hey, I'll be honest. That little dude pretty, bro. Hey,
we did get the best fit tonight. RC and I thought he had the best fit.
Actually, it was probably the same color as Swagu's fit. A little mauve going on.
What would you call that color?
Mauve. Mauve. Yeah.
Oh, his color last night?
That's salmon.
This is pink.
Yeah.
Okay, well, it looks great. Hey, listen, real men wear pink. We're just getting started on NFL Live. We've got a lot more coming your way from Pittsburgh and a packed show. We're with you for 2 hours today. Bless you, Mina. NFL Live is presented by Lowe's. Lowe's knows Sunday hits different when you've earned it. Take a little ride there on the Gateway Clipper. Mina had a little... Did you guys hear that? Mina, okay, so...
I was trying to hold it
Here's
so
the reality.
hard.
Well, sometimes we don't know if it goes home. Like, I hear it in my ear. I'm not really sure. So sometimes I'll just say it just in case. But anyway, God bless you.
God bless you.
God
bless you.
Okay, we now have Peter Schrager and Field Yates joining us here. Guys, there's a lot to get to. Let's read and react to some of the most notable picks from last night as we carry on. Oh my God,
It had to happen to you.
Mina always does that. It's the best. Let's start with Fernando Mendoza going #1 overall. What a moment for him. He talked about it with Taylor McGregor right after.
I'm just looking forward to get to work, prove at the next level. College was fantastic. I'm so blessed to have that career. But now I step into a great game of the NFL. Look forward to proving and earning it every single day.
You're going to the Las Vegas Raiders. What excites you the most about this opportunity?
What a great organization, great legacy. There's so many great teammates I'm looking forward to talking to, coaches, owners. I'm ecstatic for the opportunity.
All right, Dan, we know a lot of great aspects of Mendoza's game, but now that he's in Vegas, one thing he needs to work on.
Impatience to 2, I think, shows up on tape. He often has his #1 read there, so he sets the throw it. When it's taken away or it's not how it's expected, I think he gets impatient with his feet and his eyes will drop down trying to get away from the rush instead of trying to see what it looks like down the field. Couple times in games when he's expecting a certain guy to be open independent of the coverage, and he sets his body, which is a superpower of his, and it's not there, you see the impatience within the pocket. This is a clean look, and instead of keeping his eyes downfield, he starts to become a bailer with his eyes down to the ground instead of down the pipe to the touchdown, and you miss opportunities. So I think he's so good with expecting who #1 is going to be, but I do think as defenses play against him and take that #1 and or #2 read away, he's going to have to learn patience to get to that 3rd and 4th option.
A little surprise at #4 overall as the Titans went with Carnell Tate out of Ohio State. Defensive head coach Robert Saleh getting some help for second-year quarterback Cam Ward. And Carnell Tate finished last season with 9 touchdown receptions while averaging over 17 yards per catch. Last season, Titans wide receivers combined for 9 touchdowns and did not have a single one over 40 yards. Tate had 5 of those for the Buckeyes. Mina, what do you make of this pick?
Yeah, truly a surprise, as you said, but when you think about the importance of setting Cam Ward up for success in year 2, the pick does make more sense. Carnell Tate was my #1 receiver in the class. He's an excellent route runner. He catches literally everything, and as you said, he wins downfield. Now you pair him with the quarterback in Cam Ward, who likes to push the ball downfield. It's easy to imagine him extending plays and Tate working back to him and fighting for the football. So as far as the need goes, it was there for Tennessee. As far as the ceiling of the player, that's what is yet to be determined in the NFL.
Let's talk about the Commanders. They kept the run on Ohio State guys going when they went with Sonny Styles, 7th overall. Dan Quinn adding to that defense. Styles, the ultimate pro already. He just acts like he belongs in the NFL. And they needed help. The Washington defense that allowed the most yards per game last season and the 3rd most rush yards per game. Last season in Columbus, Styles posted the 3rd highest tackle rate in FBS. Peter, what do you think of the Styles fit in Washington?
Yeah, I was asking sources there, how does it fit? He says, well, Durante Jones, the new defensive coordinator, is going to run a version of what you see Brian Flores' defense do. You're going to do on the ball, off the ball, and be versatile, and that's what Sonny Styles can do. Obviously, he's a pro, comes from great stock. His dad was a Super Bowl champion. You know all that. He also has only played linebacker for 2 years. That was just a positive in this draft process because there's so much more for him to grow and learn. They got their guy. They got a guy that Dan Quinn and Durante Jones and Adam Peters, the general manager, feel can be a cornerstone piece, and not only rebuilding this defense, but for the next decade in Washington.
How about the Saints? They got Tyler Shough, another wide receiver, when they drafted Jordan Tyson. Tyson, emotional as he made the walk to the stage. You see some of that here. I caught up with the #8 overall pick as he processed what that night meant just moments after this.
I'm just so thankful, so blessed. The Lord's doing work on me. He's not done. We're just going to keep this thing rolling. I'm going to give it my all, and that's all I can do.
What can you say to those out there who may deal with adversity, injuries in this game, some of the things that you've handled about perseverance?
The Lord said it's going to be hard, and you have to persevere. Life is not easy. Keep going, boy. You got it. You strong. I promise you, you're so strong. Just keep going. You got it.
Congratulations. Oh, man.
That was awesome. That was amazing.
Field, how does Tyson fit in the Saints offense?
Yeah, great stuff right there, Laura. You go through this draft process and you're staying there at #8, and this team just had a glaring and obvious need at the 2nd wide receiver spot opposite of Chris Olave, who was amazing this past season. A wide receiver 2 on the board, Jordan Tyson. #9 overall player on my board. he goes 8th overall. Last year, if you look at the incumbent receivers beyond Chris Olave, the one who had the most receiving yards in 2025 was Devon Bailey with 293. Tyler Shough showed a lot of promise down the stretch last season. He has an opportunity to level up with the most explosive wide receiver in the class.
I love it. Despite the buzz on the Cowboys possibly taking a receiver after they said they wouldn't do a long-term deal to George Pickens this week, they went defense, trading up for Caleb Downs at 11 and taking Malachi Lawrence later in the first. Jerry Jones talked about moving up for Downs.
He's a prize for us, sitting there with the fives, without the fives, when it would absolutely cut your heart out. I was just thinking of the times that we've been the next pick and had somebody move up and get him. We had every reason to think that that might be happening. Didn't want to lose him.
Marcus, what did you think of the Cowboys selections?
They were phenomenal, Boogie.
Hey!
So, RC, hang in there, big fella. I told RC, let's go sit in the Cowboys section here at the draft so I could talk about these beautiful picks that the Cowboys made between Downs and Malachi Lawrence. But honestly, it's two that they needed. They needed to revamp this defense. They needed some juice on this defense, a secondary quarterback per se in Caleb Downs. And I like Malachi Lawrence. Not no pun intended, but DeMarcus Lawrence. And when he came out of Boise, this guy reminds me a lot of that.
Man, RC.
Okay, it's okay. Hey,
RC, you okay?
if you can't celebrate with your friends, you know what they say about you as a person.
Now I have the Steelers more than the Cowboys.
Hey, all right, hey, Swag, I'm about to get to the Bears here with RC, but after this, y'all have to go in the Steelers section. By the way, in this entire place, okay? The Bears went defense at number 25 with safety Delane Thieneman. RC, how does he fit in Chicago?
For me, Delane Thieneman is going to replace Kevin Byard, who led the league in interceptions with 7 last year. Here you see him in 2023, 6 interceptions as a freshman at Purdue. You don't even see him in the screen right now. And I did this so I could show you the sort of range this man has with that 4.3 speed. Watch him climb and get the ball and finish. And here you're going to see it again. He has such great anticipatory skills as a free safety, now paired with Kobe Bryant, who the Chicago Bears got from the Seattle Seahawks in this offseason in free agency. Once again, climbing, going high, point the football, and get out and get down the sideline. Now, this is one of the best plays that he made the entire year. This is him dropping into the robber position. He's going to read the quarterback and get to the wheel route by the off-ball tight end and make another play. You saw the speed at the combine, but when you turn the film on, he turns that into range, anticipation, and playmaking. And that's what you need when you're replacing a Kevin Byard, who is an absolute ball hawk.
Anticipatory.
All right, go find the Steelers section, Swag. You got to do your boy right there.
Let's go,
Come
RC.
on now.
Let's go.
We got more coming your way here on NFL Live as they make their way over to find about all the Steelers that are featured in that weekly series. 61 captivating stories getting you ready for Super Bowl 61 on ESPN, ABC, and Disney. We continue to reflect on what happened in round 1 of the draft, also getting you ready for round 2. We're with you until 5 p.m. right here on ESPN. And one of the big moments last night had to do with Jeremiah Love, the Cardinals selecting the running back out of Notre Dame, 3rd overall. And they looked to trade out. They did not do that. They picked Love. I talked to him about his plans when he gets to Arizona.
It's just a blessing, you know. I feel very honored to represent the running backs, and I'm going to put on for them. I'm going to put on for all football players. I'm going to put on for Notre Dame. I'm going to put on for my family. And lastly, I'm going to put on for the Cardinals. We're going to do some special things together.
Dan, we had talked a lot about the value at 3 versus the position and, you know, some of that rigmarole. You loved this, right? Because they took the best player in a lot of people's minds in the draft.
At the 3rd pick.
Yeah.
Arizona's picking 3rd because they don't have enough good players. They got 2 players on their team that are making more than $10 million, okay? I think that we've lost sight of the salary cap conversation when it comes to the draft. The salary cap number, same for every team. The salary cap situation, not. And that should affect at least the way that you see certain players given the situation in Arizona. 27 and 28. They have the most cap space out of anybody in the NFL. And they will, more than likely in those 2 years, even though they're 3 seasons away, be on a rookie salary cap situation. That's my question to you guys.
Yeah.
doesn't that have to be a part of the narrative in the conversation? It's not black and white for every team given their salary cap situation.
No, and the draft matters. There wasn't a Jonathan Ogden in this draft. There wasn't an Orlando Pace in this draft. There wasn't a DeMarcus Ware in this draft. There was no one at 3 that they thought was a better player that they could justify taking over Jeremiah Love. If salary cap, we could talk about salary cap's going up, guys. It's going up the next year. It's going up the next year. That's not going to ever be a hindrance for a team that's in need like this. In a draft like this, speaking with sources in Arizona, the story all day yesterday was they're trying to trade back. They're trying to trade back. Can I tell you something, guys? Nobody called up.
No one.
No one called up. The Saints didn't call up. The Chiefs didn't call up. The Cowboys didn't call up. And they weren't proactively making calls, so the plan all along was we'll listen to whoever. But Jeremiah Love's on the board. He makes us so much better tomorrow than we were yesterday. They're thrilled to have him right now, and they've got a ton of more picks today.
Real quick, was he clearly their best player? Was it clearly like Jeremiah Love?
Seems like it, right?
Like any other draft, they have their players and their scenarios. But yes, he was the best player on the board by far. That's why they took him 3rd overall.
Field, there are some options still on the board for them at quarterback, right? You think about a Carson Beck, maybe a Drew Aller. I mean, there's some players that they could draft. They didn't get a quarterback in round 1. Do you see them going for a quarterback later in this draft?
They have to, maybe as soon as tonight, and maybe as soon as the 2nd pick tonight, because they currently own number 34. Given the fact that the Jets traded up to 30, there's not a lot of competition for a quarterback between them and San Francisco, who currently own pick number 33. Here's a question I have is, given the fact that Ty Simpson, a target that we all linked to the Arizona Cardinals, went off the board last night, does that increase their urgency to, if they do want to take one of these quarterbacks, taking that player early to secure said player? Or is Arizona going to continue to try to play the board and say, if we have a 3rd-round grade on a guy like Carson Beck or Garrett Nussmeier or Drew Aller, we're going to try to wait until pick number 65, which is when they are currently scheduled to pick in the 3rd round tonight, and let that player fall to us. A very interesting dynamic today.
Quickly, you don't like
that? If I'm
that?
the Cardinals, I'm not taking a quarterback in round 2. I'd rather lose most of my games next year and get into the Arch Manning Sweet States than take a 2nd-round quarterback.
Okay.
Well,
easy for me to say.
What if you like Carson Beck?
If you like Carson Beck, you're taking him then.
I want to take a
still
kid that
stuck
I love
on
next
the
year.
first part of the conversation. You know, again, Jeremiah Love's amazing. Number 2 player on the board for me. I get it. I've heard it. We've heard all the sides of the argument. I still remain on the side that if I have a chance to draft a pass rusher that I believe can influence winning more at number 3, that's where I would have landed. Jeremiah Love is going to be an excellent player at the NFL level. We just have seen this story play out a few times recently, including the likes of Bijan Robinson.
Yeah, Field. I mean, you hope that they can surround him with enough firepower, especially on the O-line. You would talk about Ashton Genty, too, as another example of things not being ready for a player at that level. All right, Adam Schefter back in here for some top stories. Adam, maybe lost in all the shuffle with some big news surrounding George Pickens last night. What do we need to know about him and the Cowboys?
Or he's signing his franchise tender, which means 2 things. It means that he now must participate in the Dallas Cowboys offseason program because he's under contract, or at least training camp when it begins. He's obligated to be there, and the Dallas Cowboys now can trade him if they want. Now, they say they're not going to do it. They have no plans to trade George Pickens. But George Pickens wants to be paid, and he hasn't been paid yet, and Dallas says it won't sign him to a long-term extension, so maybe there'll be a trade down the line. Meanwhile, the Philadelphia Eagles traded with the Dallas Cowboys to go up and take Mekhi Lemon. He was on the phone with the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Steelers thought they were going to be able to get him. The Eagles jumped in front of them to pick number 20 to Dallas' spot. They take Mekhi Lemon to become the latest wide receiver acquisition for the Eagles, which sets up the eventual June 1st trade of A.J. Brown to the New England Patriots. The 2 sides cannot agree to and commit to a deal until after June 1st due to the salary cap ramifications. But right now, that trade is likely to happen, whereby A.J. Brown would be sent to New England, and New England now is traded for Dontavian Wicks, traded up to draft Mekhi Lemon, sign Hollywood Brown, sign Elijah Moore. They have replenished that wide receiver room, knowing what's ahead with A.J. Brown.
Yeah, reading the tea leaves, listen to the reporting from Adam. I think we all know what's going to happen there. Adam with us throughout. We're with you till 5 p.m. More coming your way here on NFL live from Lee.
Big sexy up here, baby.
As somebody that was on the team when you came in, to see you still doing it 15 years later at that high level, I remember watching you practice and watching you fight every other play.
Here's the punchline. Thank you.
Right? No, I'm just saying, and I said to myself, no way somebody keeps that sort of hunger for his entire career. but you've done that, man. Like, you've done that at a high level. You started practicing like you were an undrafted free agent. You still play on Sundays in Acrisure Stadium the same way, man. Like, you should be proud that you have become the greatest Steeler of your era and one of the best to ever play here, man. It's been an honor to watch it, bro.
You're saying that, but now I feel like I got to get into a fight this year because we got a new coach. So
Yeah.
I got some
Whenever
work
you
to do.
we'll be like, it happened because of this. Great job on the stage last night, by the way.
Thank
Incredible
you.
reception from this crowd. Let's talk about the Steelers pick, because I want to get
Yes.
your take on it, and we'll just remind people how that all went down. And it was interesting because I was kind of hoping to be somebody in the green room. Did not end up being that. It ends up being Ihanature. But when you think about what he's going to bring as an offensive tackle to this team, what comes to mind, Kim?
Oh, I was watching Max last night. He gets to the second level with ease. I love his motor. For an offensive lineman to, finish plays 3 seconds, 4 seconds, 5 seconds is huge. And he's just got a big frame. And when you have offensive linemen, I know we have Broderick, I know we have Troy, but it's good to have more, and especially in the trenches.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was a great pick, especially there was a run on offensive tackles in the middle of the draft. Everybody knew the Steelers might be targeting that position. He first caught my eye when I was watching David Bailey, Texas Tech. I thought he held up extremely well in that game. And you alluded to the big frame, 6'6", 330 pounds. I think he's got nice athleticism at that size and also untapped potential. I mean, this is a guy who just started playing in junior college. How much do you have to love football to start in junior college and then stick with it and become, a first-round draft pick? I think he has a ton of potential. Love this pick for Pittsburgh.
Well, to actually start football in junior college and not quit.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
How much?
Oklahoma Jones must have been crazy.
Yeah, it must have been crazy. But the other piece of this is the ability to develop.
Yeah.
Right? He could still learn. And you see the athleticism. He was a former soccer player before he started playing football.
By the way, imagine
no soccer for me.
Playing soccer at that size, the way he can get to the second level, but the athleticism that you need on the outside to protect. And also, there needs to be some people that understand how to get this run game going, because when this team plays physical on both sides of the line of scrimmage, that's when the Steelers are the best.
I like the freshness that he's going to have starting football this late. Somebody would have told my ass, look, man, don't start
Wait
playing
a little
until you're a
bit.
sophomore
Right.
in high school.
You said freshness. You said freshness. I saw him get off the plane in little slippers. I was not ready for that.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
That's different for me. I'm not a slipper guy.
He coming from Tempe, though.
Anyway.
He coming from Tempe.
Anyway, we
These
need
kids-
big platforms. Straight up. Cam, I got this question for you, though.
Yeah.
All right, I've been staunch about this. And I'm not going to put you in a bad position, but I have said numerous amount of times that this quarterback position in Pittsburgh needs to at some point get figured out, right? Whether that's a guy to take you into the future, you're comfortable with him sitting and developing. What did you see from Aaron last year based on his decision if he comes back that gives you the thought that you guys could really compete to try to win the Lombardi Trophy?
The knowledge and the accountability. Watching him go into Baltimore and put on a show. Watching him deliver to DK Metcalf, help Pat Freiermuth continue to grow. And I just thought he held everybody accountable. He made sure everybody was comfortable, but we had the standard to play up to on offense. And in practice, he was holding the defense to that standard as well. So having him, along with more weapons around him, I think it just makes for a better fit.
How much of a feel was it like having Ben around, right? Because we went from Ben and there were younger quarterbacks drafted. You tried to piecemeal and make that position work.
Yeah.
To get another veteran in, how similar was he or non-similar to Ben Roethlisberger in the way that he led?
Well, he can play off script and he can play on script.
Yeah.
It's not like he's asking the OC, hey, what do I do in this situation? He's been in every situation. He knows how to get to the second read, his third read, and on offense, you need to have a plan to react and then counteract. And I think he does that better than anybody.
Have you talked to Aaron Rodgers?
Maybe.
Okay. Now I'm going to take that as a yes. What did he say?
He said, he may have gotten the okay, but he's still waiting to figure out what's left. And, it's not from a physical standpoint, but, you have to give this game up eventually. We're all going to be retired one day. It's just a matter of time of when that is.
Okay.
Like that.
Interesting.
That was very diplomatic.
Yeah, good job.
He's going to be the governor
my
one
first
day.
interview.
Cam,
Yeah.
about that, too, I want to just kind of ask another question on that.
Yeah.
What will the response be from this football team if and when Aaron says he's coming back to play? Like, there's a public perception.
Yeah.
There's the talk shows and the studio shows that talks about this. What do you think the guys in that locker room reaction will be when that decision is made?
Ready to go. This is the run we got to make.
Yep.
We're here in Pittsburgh now for the draft, but we want to be talking about a Super Bowl. We want to be able to say this is the missing piece. And Aaron is not one to just keep the attention on him. All he cares about the group. I will say one thing I've loved about Aaron in this time is it's been about the group. He made sure we had Christmas party, Halloween parties, just including everybody. He got to know the 53 man just like the second man.
Yeah.
And for our group to be successful and be a part of a Super Bowl run, you know about this.
Yeah.
You got to be close.
That made me feel good because I've been on his ass for some years.
Yeah, hey.
I'm still on him. I make sure he is part of the group.
Hearing that,
Cam's
and he gives
accountable.
me hell every chance he gets.
Hey, let's go back to a really fun moment, the 2011.
Oh, I don't want to. This is
with the 31st pick in the 2011 NFL Draft, the Pittsburgh Steelers select Cameron Hayward, defensive end, Ohio State.
Look at that baby DMV.
Man, he had to go.
Here it has changed. Let it go, Cam. Go on.
He didn't dress up at all.
Game where they needed to step up and play in Arkansas. You got Ryan Mallett, the Sugar Bowl, big stage, and here's Cameron Hayward, unblockable in that game.
Got to finish with the sack.
That I think solidified that first round grade.
It's a long time ago.
Look at that.
I was waiting
Mel
for him.
Kiper was babyface too.
I was waiting for my babyface brother to show up in that picture too, because it's like very odd that he just pops up and starts clapping. It's like, hey, there's Connor.
Hey, your alma mater, Ohio State's done some big things.
They
had
have.
a bunch of guys drafted. Big night for the Big Ten as the Buckeyes became the third school in NFL history to have 4 of the top 11 selections, joining 1967 Michigan State, 1946 Notre Dame. Ohio State has now had at least one first-round pick in 11 consecutive drafts. Absolutely crazy. One of those guys, Arvell Reese, who the Giants took at 5 overall. What do you think of him in New York?
He's special. He's rangy. He can get on the edge. He can play inside. Very bursty off the line, and I love the way he plays. I think he's going to be successful. I thought he was going to the Jets, but that was a shell game. But whoever gets him is going to be successful, which the Giants did.
I mean, I love the Arvell Reese pick for the Giants. I thought he was the best player available. I love the fact that they're going to play him off the ball as he learns how to rush the quarterback. I think that he adds to that run defense that really struggled last year. But you told me something yesterday when I saw you about another Ohio State player. Tell this guy, because he's going to be happy to hear it.
Talking about Caleb Downs?
Yes.
Caleb Downs, best player in the draft.
That's what he said.
Wow.
Best player in the draft.
So smart, right?
So smart, instinctual. I think he's going to be one of those generational talents, like an Ed Reed, like a Troy Palmo. I'm putting it out there. I think he's the best player in the draft.
Tell him about it. Hey, Cam Ward, thank you for joining us here on NFL Live. We appreciate you. The
Appreciate
Steeler
you.
great is with us. Yeah,
the 31st
legend,
pick.
active legend.
Now you got to get ready for Cam.
Hey, they took the camera off him. He was crying in.
I know. I saw
Ooh,
the,
he was crying.
I saw the lip quiver.
Why were you trying to hold it? Let it out.
We're trying to hold it.
Because he been thought he was tough.
I know.
He always thought he was tough. He's like,
Hey, man, just leave me alone, man. I'm worried on it.
Big men cry too, okay? Coming up, we
real.
got a lot more coming your way here from Pittsburgh.